Good Tavach, this is Gemara Pesachim Daf Nun. All the learning for this month, the month of Tevis, has been sponsored as a special schos Ilu Neshama Fali Rasha Basar Yaleib Wells, the schos Ilu Neshama Far Yaleib and Yaakov the Neshama Shav and Aliyah. The schos of all the learning of the entire Chabura should be a tremendous schos Ilu Neshmasam. Of course, our Chaylim Chavichos ben Malcolm Michilis Yipar Bas Nethile Huvo Yudimir ben Yakir Meneva Vega Chaim ben Sarjam Sivan Reizels Har Bas Kanendeli Basim Chaisar Yischaim Yosiel ben Mendel Eliezer President Shavalei Shalom Bas Nami Vashavik Shuvchana Faldivini Teriva Shmuel ben Atila Tarivka Baslava Daniel ben Chanarizal, Mikachaya Basmina, Yudarye, Rafael, Ben Yita, Libracha Basevia Musa, Besoy Shar, Chayli Yisrael. We pick it up about 15 lines in the bottom of Mem Testament B. It's continuing this Agadata. First one on the line is Shesoinin, about 15 lines in the bottom. Tana, Shana, Upirish. Someone who learns and then he forgets his learning, he goes off the derech, I should say. Yoiser Mikulan, he's the worst of all of them. He hates Talmidei Chacham more than everyone else. Tana Rabbanu learned in the Brayso, Shisha Devarim Nemru B'Amei Haaretz. 6 things it says by Amaratzim, Ein, Moiser Lameidas, you cannot give them Eidos, Ve'im Kamlim and Eidos. We don't accept from them Eidos. Ve'im Galam Side, we don't teach them secrets. We don't appoint them over a trustee over an estate. Al Yisayim of the Yisayim. We don't appoint them apotropis, the appointee over the charity box. They mislavin imam baderech, like we mentioned, that you don't escort them on the road because they're afraid of sakana. And some you do not announce on their aveda. You don't want to give them anything back. V'tanakam, according to Tanakam, he didn't say about announcing them the aveda. Seemingly sounded like you could announce on the aveda. What's the reason? Says the Brayso zimnin nothing minei zara. Perhaps a child would come from him malia that is good, and then he'll be able to use that aveda that you return to him. Shnemar, Yochen, one will prepare his tzaddik ilbash, and tzaddik will wear the righteousness, so his ancestors will inherit him. Which, of course, is a bit of a question. A lot of things we said we're killing, stabbing, all these fascinating, extreme gemaras. Why don't we say maybe number 1 he'll do tshuva, maybe number 2 he'll have descendants? Okay, different questions. Let's move on to the Agadata. Says the Gemara. V'chein mi sheyatza, and certainly the end of the Mishnah said that someone who's leaving Yushalayim and realizes he still has kachim in his hands. Lameimra, says the Gemara, the Ramir Savar Kebeya Hu the Chashiv. Sounds like Ramir says, what's the quantity you have to be worried about as a Beya of Rav Yehuda Savar? Because I is not mi Chashiv. For a minute, we see in a price of the opposite. Ad Kamim is not until when can you make a Zimon? How much you have to eat to be a Zimon in a meal? Ad Kezayis, Rav Yehuda Imer Ad Kebeya. Seemingly Rav Yehuda here is saying a Beya, and the Tanakamu is seemingly Ramir says a Kezayis. Rav Yechon Muchlav is a Shita, switch around the Shitas in the price about Zimun. And that brisa about Zimun, that wasn't the regular machlekes. By us, we have the regular machlekes. Rameir says Beir, Yehuda says Kezayis. Over there by Zimun, that was a different thing because the pasuk says Achab is svara pligi. Over there by us, it is a svara. Has a mikrai pligi. Over there it's a pasuk. Rameir savar v'chalta. When it's pasuk v'chalta, v'zavata v'rachta. V'chalta zuachila. That's eating. V'savati shon satiated zushtia. That's drinking. V'achila. What's an achila? It's always a Kezayis. Review the Zavar, no. V'chalta v'zavata achila sheyesh batzviya means that eating a higher level of eating, and eating that has a satiation means a zu kabeya. That's a kabeya. Halcha, whereas Beyaz Rameir and Yehuda arguing v'svara pligi. To Rameir Zavar chazar takitamasi. Taking something out of Yishlayim potentially is like making something tummy. Ma tamasa b'kabeya v'charasa b'kabeya. Yehuda Zavar chazar no, it's ki yisurai, like the quantity that becomes aser moving along to nun. Amid Aleph ki Yisurai, my Yisurai because av Chazarasai because so the machlekes by Azra Meir and Rav Yehuda is not dependent on machlekes by Zimun. By Zimun is how do you learn up what it's an achila v'chalt of savata? Does that mean a higher level, or just achila means level of achila? Whereas by us they're arguing in Sfara. Tanya 2 lines down. None of Aleph we learned to the Brayso and also no Himer. Zev is Zev kishtei beitzim. Both of them are 2 beitzim. The Chacham do not admit to Rav Nelson. Now once we're on the topic of Yishalayim, we bring down some beautiful and fascinating drashas about what will be Lasid Lavai. Says the Gemara who will be on that day, they'll no longer be the sun. Yikrais v'kifain. And the pasuk concludes that there won't be a sun anymore, and the pasuk ends off Yikaros v'kipa oin. My Yikaros v'kipa oin, says the Gemara Rav Elazar, first pshat ze'ar. This is the sun sheyakar b'elam hazeh. It's very strong in this world. V'kafoy le'elam haba, but in the future, not Lasid Lavai, it's not going to be. It's going to be it's going to be diminished. Says the Gemara, this refers to the topics, the limud, the mishnayis, the sugyas of the goyim and ha'ila she'ikar and zein b'olam hazeh. In this world, they're so difficult. The kvunein b'olam haba, but in the next world, they're going to be trivial. They can be very easy to understand. The people that are precious and chashiv in this world, they're going to be nothing in the next world. He went into a coma. And he went up to Shamayim, but the Shamayim came back. So when he came back, they said to him, what did you see upstairs in heaven? Very famous Gemara. I saw an upside down world. The people that are in this world who are above, the next world are below, and vice versa. No, you don't see a backwards world. You see the real world. That everything is true. What's up there, not necessarily what something looks chashiv and important down here. Vanan, hechi. So he asked, what do we look like in the next world? Asam, kechi disi anan. The Talmid Chachamim, just like the Chashiv in this world, Keched Yesinu Anan, Acha, Hachi Yesinu Nasam, are also Chashiv in the next world. Vishamati, and he continues telling over that which he saw in heaven. Vishamati She'ayim, they were saying, Ashrei Misha Balakan, praiseworthy is one that comes up to heaven, Talmud Biyadai, and he had his learning in his hand. Either that means, says Rashi, that you know you're learning, if the Chaz you're learning, you have to understand the Daf, or it means Talmud Biyadai, you have to write Chedushay Torah, that which you write, that which you author, that's going to be in your hand. Vishamati, and I heard a third teaching, those who were killed by the government, no one can stand in their partition, meaning they go to such a high place in Shamayim. And who are these people that go all the way up, these people who are killed? The story of Rav Kiva. Does that mean just Rav Kiva and Asuri Malchus go up to that high level and no one else? Ella Aruge Lod, which Rashi tells us the story, the two brothers that give themselves over so that the rest of the city doesn't have to be destroyed. A classic case of someone being killed al Kiddush Hashem, and those go up all the way to the highest spheres. And now we continue Darshing Psukim Bayamahu in the fifth wide line. Bayamahu al Matzalais Asus. The pasuk says in that day, there's going to be on Matzalais Asus. Kodesh Hashem will be holy to Hashem. My Matzalais Asus. What does that mean? I'm Rav Shimon Levi. Also, in the coming in the end of days, Hashem's going to add on and widen and expand Yushalayim Hashasus Ratu Matzel to the extent that the Tzus could run and have its shade underneath him, which Rashi explains means till midday. Because at midday the shade goes directly underneath the area that is the length a horse could run from dawn all the way until midday. That's how far Yushalayim is going to be extended. Lots of love of Lazar. Kol Matila Shetailin. All the bells they hang in front of the horse, between his eyes. In the future, Yekadosh Hashem, they're going to give them to the Beis Hamikdash as donations to Hashem. Rav Yechon Amar, Kol Bizah Shabbaizin Yisrael Hachash Hasas Ratz, all the booty that Yisrael is going to conquer, the Jews are going to conquer. Let's level again the amount of time for horse to run. Umatzal, they're going to save it. Yekadosh Hashem, they're going to give to the Beis Hamikdash. Says the Gemara, 3 Pesachim. That any booty that the Jews are going to get from the Goyim Yisrael, I know they'll save them. That's what the pasuk means. There are asirais. The pots are going to be in the house of Hashem, like the bowls, meaning all the pots are going to be like the bowls, meaning they'll be like silver and gold. There's going to be such extreme wealth, so much money in the Beis Hamikdash. Why? Because the Klal Yisrael are going to give it over from all the biza, from all the booty that they're going to get. The other two pshatim, what is the meaning of that pasuk? Says the Gemara, you know what it means? Yisrael, the Jews are going to be very wealthy, and they're going to give donations to the Beis Hamikdash. Says the Gemara again. I know they'll say that's the meaning of the possible Yekanani. There'll be no more servants. But Beis Hashem, because we're going to have so much money, we don't need servants. The first two Yekanani. What does that mean? That we're not going to have any more need for servants? I'm Rabbi Yirmiyah. Ein kan ani. There's going to be no poor people. That's what the pasuk means, caused due to the extreme wealth. Says the Gemara, how do we know that a Kanani Dikri Tiger that's called a merchant, the Chsiv the Pasuk says, V'yarashem Yehuda, and Yehuda saw over there, Bas Ish Kanani, the daughter of a man of a Kanani. My Kanani, what does the Torah mean when it says Yehuda saw the daughter of this Kanani? If it means Kanani Mamish, if it means an actual Kanani, sure is that possible? But Avram these years, Yitzchak, Avram Avinu warned his son Yitzchak not to marry Kanani. But Yitzchak these years, Yaakov not to marry Kanani. Yehuda also a Nasiv, and Yehuda goes and marries a Kanani, can't mean that's what the Pasuk means. Ella, what does the Pasuk mean? Shimon Lakish Bas Gavra Tagra means the daughter of a great merchant. The Chsev, as the Pasuk says, Kanan Biyadei Moisnei Mirma, that the merchant scales are going to be in their hands. We see that word Canaan refers to the merchants. That the merchants, again, that the trading people, Canaan, referring to the merchants, are going to be over the land. So again, a bunch of shatim that the word means merchant. Says the Gemara as we close off this wonderful fifth parak. Says, I'm sorry, not fifth parak. Third parak says the Gemara, Vaya Hashem the Melech al Kol Haaretz V'Yemahu Hashem Echad U'Shmaya Echad, that Hashem's going to rule over the whole world, and He'll be the one and singular king. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Lost Lavoi. Atu Inna Lav Echadu. Is God not one now? Of course He is. This world is not like the next world. This world on good tidings we say Baruch Atay V'Ameitiv. V'Abasura is rise, if something bad, God forbid it happens, I'm Baruch Tayana Emes. La'alam Haba, but in the next world, Kulay Atay V'Ameitiv, everything's going to be Atay V'Ameitiv, because we're going to see the good in every single scenario. U'Shmaya Echad, the Pasuk concludes that his name is one. Maya Echad, what does it mean one? Atu Inna Lav Shmaya Echadu, is God's name not one now? Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak one more time, this world is not like the next world. Hashem's name is read Yod Kei Vav Kei V'Nikra B'Alef Dalet, but we pronounce it Alef Dalet Non Yod Adinos. But in the next world, Kulay Echad, everything's going to be one. Nikra B'Yod Hei V'Nichta B'Yod Hei. God's name will be written with the Yod Kei Vav Kei and read as well that way. Sava Rava Slaw Lemedrash Meverka the Darshan in public about the Shem Hashem. Amalu Usab, an elderly man said La Aleim Ksiv. La Aleim means to conceal, that we don't necessarily darshan the name of Hashem in public. Rav Avina Rami Ksiv, it says the one pasuk says Shemila Allah, this will be my name forever. This is my remembrance. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu explains the Gemara, Loika Shani Nichtav Ani Nikra, not like my name is written, is it read? Nichtav Ani B'Yud Hey, it's written Yud Kei Vav Kei V'Nikra Ani Ba'Alef Dalet, we pronounce it Alef Dalet Nun Yod. Hadjon Aloch Elu Oivrin Mazel Tov on the third parak of Pesachim. We're almost at the halfway mark. Looking at the end of the Masechta, Mirz Hashem, we shall all be together. If everyone doesn't make it here to Yerushalayim, I hope to make it in to celebrate with everyone in New York. Hajjan Allah, let's do a chazar like the Gemara taught us today. Ashrei mi shabalikan. Let's hope that we have Talmudai biyadai. Let's begin the new parak, the fourth parak, the parak of Makim Shenagu. Says the Mishnah, Makim Shenagu, last says malacha, place they do malacha. Erev Pesach, like nowadays everyone does malacha. Actually, we'll see, but it means Erev Pesach in the morning. That everyone does. Ad Concise, I shouldn't say everyone, but if this place has a minhag, you're allowed to do malacha. However, there are places that Makim Shenagu Shloila Asais, there are places that the minhag not to do malacha in the early morning until Chatzais and Erev Pesach, you're not allowed to do malacha. Says the Mishnah further, din number 2. You go from a place where they do malacha, a place where they don't do, or vice versa. Says the Mishnah, whether you came from a place that doesn't do malacha, or you went to a place. If you came from a place, it's your minhag. If you went to a place, it's minhag hamakim. In both places, says the Mishnah, you have to be machmer. Continuing the Mishnah as we flip over to the base, very important line. You should never be meshana. You should never change the minhag of due to machlekes. Similarly, hamalech player shvi is someone who is carrying the fruits of shmita. The rules of shmita are that as long as the animals are eating them in the field, you're allowed to bring them to your house. So if you're in a place there's no longer fruits in the field, so it can be no longer fruits in the house, and you're bringing in the makom shaloi kalu where the fruits are still available, or vice versa, or makom shaloi kalu chayav levar, you got to get rid of them. Rav Yehuda Omer say, you should bring it to yourself. Again, the second part of the Mishnah, the Gemara is going to explain Says the Gemara, my area Erev Pesachim. Why does the Mishnah say in a place where they have a minute not to do melacha and before Chatzos and Erev Pesach you shall listen? Afilu Erev Shabbos Erev Yom Tovim, even Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontiv Nami. The Tani learned in a race. Hoy some melacha Erev Shabbos Erev Tovim min mincha lamayla. We do melacha and Erev Shabbos and Yontiv from mincha gedayla and onward. Einay roya simin bracha. You're not going to see a blessing. So says the Gemara, what's going on? Our Mishnah made it sound like it didn't Erev Pesach. We see here also Shabbos and Yontiv, you should not do work on the Erev of them, on before Yontiv and Shabbos. Answers the Gemara, Lo'ilam, Hasamina Mincho Lamaylu Dasar, Samach Lamincha Loi. Samach Lamincha is the half hour from Chatzos until Mincha Gedayla. So that half hour did not ask in the Brisa, but in our Mishnah by Pesach, Hacham Chatzos, earlier even from Chatzos it is also. Teretz number 1. Inami Teretz number 2, Hasam Simin Brachut Loichazi. I'm sure it's the Teretz that everyone was thinking. Over there it just says you're not going to see a Simin Bracha. You're not going to. It's not also, over an Isser. You just don't see a Siman Bracha. Some of the Mepharshim asked, if you don't see a Siman Bracha, why would you do it? Okay. Avol Shamuti Lo Mishabdino, we don't put you in Chayrim. Hachavaya, Shamuti Nam Mishabdino Le, we see the power of a Minok. Shamuti Nam Mishabdino Le, we're putting someone into Chayrim. Why? Because he was over on a Minok. Says the Gemara, Gufa Isam Malacha Bar Shabbos Basais. Ubar Yom Tov, Mina Min Chol Lamayla. And as well continues this brisa. Ubim Motzai Shabbos, Motzai Yantiv, Motzai Yom Kippur, Mechol, Makim Anytime you have a trace of Aveira, last week they include that Isiber, Einai, Raya, Simon Brachel, but of course, this means in a place that they had a main Agwai with their Minhagim not to do Malacha on Motzei Shabbos. Peit Machlekes over here, Rashi seems to learn this refers to Tosefes Shabbos. If that on a little bit, Tosefes says no, this refers to the time after, before you Dam and Ma'ariv, before you made Avdallah. Whatever it is, those are the Minhagim, those are the Dinim. Moving right along, Tanu Rabbanan. And now we have another lengthy Agadato. Yesh Zariz v'nischar v'Zariz v'nifsad. The someone who is Zariz, he's alacrious, he works very fast and he gains. Yesh Zariz, he works very fast, v'nifsad, and he loses. Yesh Shafal is a lazy person, v'nischar, and he gains. Yesh Shafal is a lazy person, v'nifsad, and he gains. And he loses. Now we explain. Zariz v'nischar, what is the Arab food to David Kuli Shabbato? You work the whole week. You're a Zariz, you work the whole week. And you're a Nischar, why? Because you don't work in Arab Shabbos, you don't lose your money. Zariz v'nifsad, what's that? David Kuli Shabbat, you work the whole week. So your Azaris, you work a lot, but you're also going to be a Nifsad. Why? Because you work in Erev Shabbos, which we're saying right now is what's the halacha that you don't see a siman bracha. Shafel v'nischar. What's this case of a shafel of a lazy person that he gains? I'm sorry. Explains the Gemara. Deloy avid kulei Shabbat. He doesn't work the whole week. V'lavin mali Shabbat. You don't work Fridays. You're a lazy person, but you gain as well because you end up working in Erev Shabbos. Shafel v'nifsad. You lose is lavin kulei Shabbat. V'avid b'mali Shabbat. Silly guy. He never works. The only time he works is Erev Shabbos, when Chazal said you don't see a siman bracha, that's a lazy person that loses. Amar Rava explains, Rabbi Anu Nashi the mechuzah, these women of mechuzah. Avgav lovin avidita b'mali Shabbata mishom naf nekusa. They don't work in Erev Shabbos, but you know why? Because they're very delicate people. They don't work at all. Who? They don't work any day of the week. So they don't work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and as well in Erev Shabbos. But yet says Rava, that's the example. We call him a lazy person, but they're going to gain because the mice they did not work in Erev Shabbos. Rava Rami Ksiv, Rava has the steer that it says Ki goes out Shamayim, he great until the heavens, Chasidecha, your kindness. Uksiv and a different pasuk says Go me'ala Shamayim Chasidecha. So what's going on? Is the kindness to Hashem till the heavens or above the heavens? Case that explains the Gemara. Can oisin l'shma, can oisin shlei l'shma. Ucht Rabbi Yehuda, like the words of Rabbi Yehuda, Damar Rabbi Yehuda, Ramarav, Lo'ilam Yasik Adam. Person should delve and deal with Torah. Mitzvahs and mitzvahs even if you're doing it shaloi lishma for ulterior and incorrect motives, still it's better, and that's when your reward goes ad l'shamayim until the heavens. Why? Shaloi lishma ba lishma, then you're going to come to lishma, and lishma is when your reward goes even above the heavens. Tan Rabbanan, moving along to the first white line, a mitzapeh l'schar ishtay. Someone who is waiting and looking eagerly to the reward that his wife makes, or to hand the mail, bracha la'ilam. Explains the Gemara, that's referring to a woman that goes out to the marketplace and brings her scale to hire herself out. Rechaya, what's that referred to? Agarta, a woman who also goes to hire herself out. Avul explains the Braisa of Dom Izamna, but if she makes something and she sells it, that is tabuchem ishtavachba. So better better, higher level of sneeze. She doesn't go out to work for others, but she makes a product and she sells it, that she, yes, will get reward. Why? Kruk save the pasuk in Eishes Chayil, Sodin Asav a Timkar, but she makes the cloak and she sells it. That's a wonderful Maila, and that the husband will gain from. But the woman who goes out to hire herself out is obviously on a lower level, and obviously this is very societal, etc. Says the Gemara, Tanur Rabbanan, 3 lines into the wide lines. Someone who gains from sticks and from jugs, my time was the reason given off since it's such a tremendous quantity that you're moving lots of goods, people think that you're making a lot of money, so you have an ayin hara, you're not going to see simin bracha. Tanur Rabbanan, 5 lines down, Tagri Simti, now we have a whole list over here. Tanaraban, Tagri Simta, the vendors that are in public, Megadle Behema, Taka, those who raise small animals, Vikoise Ilano Stavers, they cut down good trees, and they name Bechili Gafa, they desire and they put their eyes on a good portion, Ainaraisim and Brach Lailam. Why? My Taima, Tito Beinshi, because these are things that people look at with amazement. Wow, you're such a tremendous person, which leads to Ayin Hara, which leads to one not getting Simon Bracha. Tanaraban says the Gemara, Dalar Prutas Ein Bahen Simon Brach Lailam, the 4 types of monies that have no blessing at all, Schar Koisvim, the wages for someone who writes, the interpreters, the Yisaimim, is a young money that comes overseas. Says Gemara, and the interpreter, that's why you're not going to get a simmer bracha. It looks like you're getting wages for Shabbos. That's why you're not going to make money, because they can't forgive it. It was sakana to travel by sea. So if you're dealing with items that travel by sea, you got to be careful. Not every day is there going to be an ace. Says the Gemara, my time, but what's the problem with hiring a writer? The Anshei Knesset Gdola sat for 24 tainis. Al Koisvei Svarim Tefillin Mezuzah, so those who write Sifrei Kodesh Tefillin and Mezuzah Shelo Yisashru. They did not want them to become wealthy. Why? Shamali Mizashin and Kais, and they become wealthy, they're going to stop writing. And Kais needs that. We need Sifrei Torah. We need Tefillin. We need Mezuzahs. That's what it's referring to. That wages you're not going to see them in bracha, because Chazal already said they're not going to make money to become wealthy. Let's just finish off one more segment. Those that write the Svarim Tefillin and Mezuzahs themselves, the merchants and the merchants and the merchants, and anyone who deals in this heavenly pursuit, those who sell tcheles, you never get some bracha. But if you deal lishma, then you will see from there bracha. We'll pick it up from here tomorrow.